The scene opens at a sort of cantina / nightclub in the Death Star. If you play Tiny Death Star, you know what I'm talking about. We open to a young human, kind of hair a little bit frazzled. He's sitting next to a giant Wookiee. The two of them are at the table. They both have drinks in hand. They look like they've been drinking for a better part of an hour at this point. Would you like to describe both Remy and your friend Lorbeau?
Yeah.
Sorry, Reminold.
Yeah. So Remy is a Corellian human. He's pretty young, in his 20s. He's got a very clean-cut look, but is not quite as military as like some of the others surrounding him. He's got a very kind of James Dean look. His hair's like slicked back and...
He has to get rid of that helmet hair after the flight.
He does. In fact, that's what he's doing. He's got like his beer glass kind of held up, and he's like using the reflection to kind of fix his hair. And he's got these very like piercing, cocky type eyes. And Lorbeau is, I guess, wearing like a yellow vest and is just a big old Wookiee. Has like a couple braids in his hair.
He very much has like a maintenance satchel on. He's off duty, but for some reason he always carries his like maintenance tool belt around.
Exactly.
He sometimes stops and fixes things when you're walking around the Death Star.
Mm-hmm. Stuff that was on his to-do list. And
fair enough.
There's a bunch of other kind of soldiers, and they're kind of relaxing. They keep giving us dirty looks, but it's something we've kind of gotten used to since we've been hanging out together and stuff.
Why are they giving you dirty looks?
Just because I'm hanging out with a Wookiee, and they don't really like that so much.
Very much so. It very much goes against the xenophobia that's rampant in the Imperial Army or Navy.
Yeah.
So as the camera kind of sets this wide establishing shot, there's people up at the bar, there's, a dance floor, there's a lot of people in military uniform, some in civilian clothing, but mostly military uniform. And the camera cuts over to Remy. Is it Remy or Reminold?
His friends call him Remy, but most people probably know him as Reminold right now.
When he's standing in formation, his commander calls him Reminold, so when the camera focuses...
His commander calls him LS-419.
Exactly, yeah. Or
his parents call him Reminold.
Oh, yeah. And they use the full name when they refer to you? Yeah. Reminold Fitzgerald Novus. Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
So, as the camera kind of pans in to Remy and Lorbeau, what's going on? Right, they've been drinking a little bit. What's going? What are they working on for their drunk conversation?
So he's got his beer up and he's fixing his hair. I don't know, Lorbeau. I've been looking into it. I'm sure there's rebels in the area, but I've been looking at the records and I haven't seen any strikes going out from here.
So Lorbeau has this almost like bucket of like I haven't
Space beer.
Space mead. Right? He has this big, like, almost...
Spacewiser.
Ooh. Spacewiser light. Lorbeau's gotta watch his figure still.
Can't believe you can drink that, Lorbeau. There's no flavor.
It sets it down. It splashes a little bit. Almost gets in your drink. You protect it a little bit.
I don't know. I think they're lying to us about it. I think there's a different reason that planet was destroyed. And then it'll kind of like cut away a bit, and there's a few like shot glasses out in front of both of us now, and his hair's like messed up a little.
Oh, so it cuts to later?
Yeah, it just kind of wipes.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, man. I think we just need to get out of here. I'm tired of being here. Like, I know you want to see Kashyyyk again. I want to see Corellia.
That was a little bit more monkey. I apologize. I'll fix that in post.
And then it wipes away, and we're singing karaoke.
and it's pretty much it's what's the song that they're singing?
It's by It's by the band Space Journey.
Okay. It's just a Corellian boy? Or yeah. Born and raised in South Korea, or South Coronet. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Exactly.
So we cut to karaoke, and what kind of ovation do you guys get at the end? Are you booed off stage, or do you get a pretty healthy round of applause?
People seem very annoyed, but they're like, having fun too because we're having fun.
And it's mostly because of during like the best part, the solo, Lorbeau took it away, and he just barreled Surly Wook into the microphone, just went ham, and it like people were starting to warm up to it, and then the Surly Wook solo just ruined everything.
And then it like cuts away one more time, and I've kind of just got my head on his shoulder. I'm like, I love you, man. You're my best friend.
Is there more?
And his eyes are closed. He's a little bit tired, and all of a sudden he's kind of like. He's almost having like a dream, like a drunken dream almost, and you're just like, I love you, man. Is it weird if I like running my fingers through your fur? It's getting weird, and all of a sudden his comm link starts going off, and he completely misses the call, and you kind of wake him up after you hear like the last couple rings. He has some obnoxious ringtone.
Oh, of course,
yeah. It's just Surly Wook battle drums. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So you wake him up and he checks his message, and he tells you in Surly Wook that he says they're calling everybody back to work.
What for?
He says, I don't know, I'm too drunk for this.
I take his like.
You take the rest of his drink?
I take his bucket and I look at his like data pad to kind of see what's going on.
Gotcha. Yeah, so he basically the voicemail, the text portion of it kind of transferred over to his data pad, and it's calling all technicians back to their workstations immediately. And you know that Lorbeau usually works in tractor beam control, and especially like more the maintenance of it. And there's a urgent from his supervisor. It says all tractor beams offline, priority work request, analyze and repair.
Lorbeau, do you know what this is? No! It's not an emergency. This is our chance, Lorbeau. We're getting off this thing. We're going home. I'll go pack your bag. You go cause a distraction or something. I don't know.
He kind of nods, and he just picks up his bucket and he just finishes it, sets it down. He sets it upside down on the table, like just the
pisses the bartender off too, because there was still like a good bit in there. It's like a full beer.
Yeah, he just looks at you and goes, "You two, you're done. Get out of here." And then, if I may, Remy turns to the bartender and he goes, "I won't see you later." And then he thinks about it for a moment, and then he forgets it. Right?
He is still Reminald.
Still working on it. He's working on it, and the whole way back to his bunk, he's just thinking about like, damn. Right? Blast! I had
something for this.
I could have said that better.
I've probably prepared like 20 times to tell that guy off. All right. So we are going to cut with Lorbeau and Reminald storming out of the nightclub / bar, arming each other, about to make their big great escape. They still kind of have a pep in their step and the tune on their voice. And we'll kind of cut to a more dour scene. The lights are dark. There's like this strong red light. We do an establishing shot of a detention cell block, and you see this block warden, kind of in military uniform, traditional gray uniform, kind of looking at sensors. He's pretty bored. But he does have quite the responsibility. Earlier today, he received several dozen Alderaan refugees or survivors. He was briefed that they were rebel sympathizers, and so he was hesitant to feed them meals for dinner. It's definitely been a couple hours since the crew of the Mistress of Sabers has been locked up, each one to their own detention cell. And after a few moments, the camera pans and the door slides open, and 4 stormtroopers kind of storm in, blaster rifles at the ready, and he's kind of surprised. It's definitely like the middle of the night, and coming around the corner, walking through the doorway, red flowing hair, ivory white uniform. She has the rank of captain. She wears the rank of captain as a mark of incredible pride as she steps in. And the block warden looks at her, and she gives him a list, and she says, "Prepare these prisoners for interrogation." "Right away, Captain." And so we do a cut to Triz strapped into one of those kind of torture chairs that they have in the first movie, and the Imperial Stormtroopers have escorted you in here, strapped you in, and then they just kind of left. And you've been sitting here for probably a good 20 minutes, almost at this point wishing someone would just torch you and get it done with, right? And the door slides open, and this young woman walks in. And although youthful, you kind of notice this insignia on her shoulder. You don't know what rank it is, but you see that she kind of wears it with pride. And not only the rank, but the air around her just kind of exudes of this seriousness, yet determination, this kind of career-oriented young woman. And as she approaches you, her kind of flowing red hair, you look at her eyes, she has these bright, piercing blue eyes. You can tell that she is definitely bright, like born and true, like Kuwati, right? Just this proud, arrogant kind of human. The kind that is nothing but trouble around these parts. 1 second. Okay. So, as she walks in, she goes, "Are you comfortable?"
So much.
"Yes, well, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I had more pressing matters."
I'm sure.
Yes, I believe you know him. His name is, Tanan Fanal. I'm sorry, but he's going to be a little bit more worse for wear, you see.
He's my captain.
Yes, I know, and he is very resilient, but anyone breaks with enough time and enough pain.
Try me.
And she immediately just reaches over to a console and pushes a couple buttons. Go ahead and make me a resilience check to kind of resist this pain. And depending on how good you do, will determine how little damage you take.
Alright.
I have none of that.
So that's...
Come on, Charm, don't fail
I
me
have a
now.
rank of 1 in brawn.
Oh no.
Alright, so we're doing a resilience check, and she is torturing you. We're just going to start it off a little low. We're going to go with 2 purples.
Some stuff up.
Alright.
And we'll give you... How do you care about the captain at all? I mean, it's been a couple months. You've gotten to know him a little bit. Are you concerned for his safety?
He's still my captain.
Okay. So we'll add a setback, but we'll also add a boost because you are feeling very comfortable. You know, you're very proud. You've had training, you know, for not necessarily being tortured, but you are a very disciplined soldier. Yeah. So, all right, you have 2 purples, a setback, a boost, and your characteristics and skill. Go ahead and roll.
I see a skunk.
Okay, so let's go ahead and have the blast and the advantage here be canceled out by that single die, right? Well, and it'll get rid of this one too. And then this will cancel one of these, so you have 1 advantage. Okay.
She's got a black one too there, so it's
Oh, okay, so you have
Complete
a
wipe.
complete wash on the dice. Now, normally this is pretty boring, right? Nothing happens, nothing bad happens. In this case, we have house ruled it that if you get a complete wash, if you want, you can flip over a destiny point and re-roll the whole pool exactly how your dice align. And generally that's what we end up doing.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and flip
Yeah,
over our
plenty.
first destiny point.
Alright.
And right now, after this flips, the total is 4 light side, 3 dark side. And we have rolled this before the session started today. As this is a tutorial, we wanted to kind of get past that. In the future, we will be rolling it on camera, most likely. So, go ahead and re-roll after flipping your destiny point.
Alright.
So that green and the purple will immediately cancel each other. What else are we looking at?
That one's
You don't
clean.
have any
That one's
successes.
clean.
do you?
Washes again.
Oh my gosh. A double wash? I don't think that's ever happened before.
I blame you.
What did I do?
So, would you like to flip over another destiny point? Like,
Oh, God.
it's either that or you take damage, right? Because you're getting tortured. So, the force is neither with you nor against you in this one.
I'm gonna take another
Deal.
destiny point.
All right,
Sorry,
we
guys.
are now at 4 dark, 3 light.
Alright. Here comes the charm.
That's quite a few failures I'm seeing.
Ouch.
So go ahead and calculate it up.
The Force doesn't appreciate being tortured.
Yeah, you're wasting a lot of
Right.
Jedi's
Okay.
hopes and dreams on this. So first of all, we have between these two, we have 2 success and an advantage.
Okay.
So we can cancel these out together, right?
Okay.
And then we have a final dice pool, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So what are we looking at? So the triangles are failures.
Yeah.
So we do fail in our resilience. This is going to hurt.
Okay.
And we do have advantage. So what would you like to do with your advantage while taking physical damage?
Advantage is I do not scream out in pain.
Ooh, okay. Kind of very take it with solace.
Yep.
Still bold. Okay, so you will take 4 points of four wound points of damage.
Alright.
And she's just kind of warming up on this one. So, as your wound threshold is, I believe, 13, correct? So you've essentially, like thematically, you've taken, mechanically, you've taken about a third of your life in damage. So that'll kind of give you a thematic idea of how much this hurts, right? So she tortures you for a little while, and then when she stops, she kind of starts and stops a little bit, asks you a question here or there, and she stops. And at that moment, we're going to do kind of like a jump cut. And as she kind of spins around the chair, spins around the back, kind of running her fingers along the back, we see Laku kind of coming off to the side of it. And as the camera pans around, we see Var in the torture chair. And she says, "So why are you heading to Corellia?"
Just where I need to be right now.
"Oh, that's where you need to be. And you just happen to be coming from a den of terrorists. Alderaan,
That captain was the one that offered me the cheapest ride.
what were you doing in Alderaan to begin with?"
Catching a ride.
"Girl, don't vex me. What were you doing on Alderaan?" And she reaches over for the control panel. "Just catching a ride?" She turns up the dial. Go ahead and make me a resilience check as well.
Hold it way too
I get 1 green.
Oh, jeez. And you are looking at 2 purple. And you're please don't torture me. I'm very attractive and I'm what? Sorry. Super hot, right? Seriously hot. Your seriously hot
Everybody
act
wants
is
to
not
do me.
going, so we're going to give you a setback die as well because being seriously hot is not getting you anywhere in this moment.
Var likes to talk a big game, but in reality, she's pain wimp.
You know. All right. Let's see it. Oh, that's
Well,
pretty
my
bad.
1
Could
green
be
one
worse.
is blank.
Yeah, it blanked out. So,
So-
yeah. So what are we looking at?
Panties are a failure. Right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, panties are failures.
I'm sorry, that's how I'm sorry.
Deal.
So I
For
have
viewers at home, triangles, the dice, the triangles, the failures on the dice also appear to look
Panties?
like panties. So,
Filter 'em off.
for your enjoyment. Okay, so we have 1 panties and
2
threats.
targets.
2 targets. All right. Not the brand because that would be copyright infringement. The bullseye. Yeah.
Clubs. Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
2
For the
clubs.
penguins. Okay. So
Yes.
we failed, taking 3 damage.
There are no penguins.
But
to
before
club.
we take the 3 damage, you have 2 threat. So how much do you cry Just alligator tears. How hard do you cry alligator tears before she stops torturing you? Just 2 threats worth? No, I'm not gonna use those for alligator tears. What we'll do is she's getting to you. She's breaking you, and the more she's torturing you, the more you're doubting whether or not you're gonna be able to resist her alluring charm with your alluring charm. So when you receive your next set of questions, you will have a setback dice because you're starting to doubt your resolve.
Could do great.
Yeah. So go ahead and take 3 points of wound damage. Because that hurt.
That's threshold, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So generally what we do when we're notating is you start at 3 and then you work your way up. So in some other role-playing games, you would start with like 25 hit points and then you work your way down until you're at 0 and then you're unconscious or dead. In this game, it's a lot easier to start at 0 and work your way up. And once, I believe it's equal to or above, or it could just be above.
I think it's just above.
Okay, so when you're equal to your threshold, that's when you're like at the cusp of blacking out or falling unconscious from pain or fatigue. When you're past your threshold is when you're actually unconscious, dying, or if it's a strain threshold mechanic, then you're a raving lunatic, stuff like that. So we are at 3 wounds of your 11, so that hurt something fierce a little bit. Okay, so we are going to cut back to Triz in the torture chair, and she says, I feel like I'm being rude. Would you agree? I feel like we're just barely starting to get to know each other. And I don't even know your name.
Well, ma'am, I can tell that you are just doing your job. As was I. I'm Triz.
And she says, my name is Captain Lynn Chimera. And as I am just doing my job, I take no pleasure in torturing rebel sympathizers. But unfortunately, there is a war happening right now, and if it weren't for my job, many more innocent people would die.
So...
Make a snarky comment about Alderaan.
So... What about Alderaan?
What about Alderaan?
What happened there?
Alderaan was a demonstration. In the future, should any other planets wholeheartedly embrace this rebellion or republic to restore, alliance to restore the rebellion, should any more planets ally with these terrorists, Alderaan was an example of the Imperial might, what we are capable of. Now, if you are not, as you say, a rebel sympathizer, then you really have nothing to worry about. Now, you might end up, say, in the spice mines of Kessel. Smugglers do often end up there. Fortunately for you, I am very close to finishing with your captain, and I'm sure he'll take the blame for whatever treacherous actions he and your ship has done, and in that case we might go lightly with you and your shipmate, Ja, I believe?
What did you do to the captain?
Well, we have it on good authority that he is definitely a rebel sympathizer. He was seen by several people speaking with a new friend of mine. This Duro that we acquired on the planet as well. He is very strong. He's very resilient, but I'm sure the captain will tell us all that we need to know before we proceed with Maddock.
And how are you going to proceed?
Girl, you seem to misunderstand. I'm not the one being interrogated right now. Why were you heading to Corellia?
It was my job.
Well, I must apologize if I am merely doing my job then. and she turns up the knob. And make another resilience check.
Just take a crit.
So
So worst thing can happen. Lose limbs.
2 purple still? Or...
We'll go to 3 purple for this last one.
Alright.
She's growing impatient and she has other stuff to do.
Do I have any setbacks or anything?
You tell me, usually in these situations, I would prefer players to make arguments for boosts. You can also do thusly for setback. As a general rule, sometimes the GMs like to provide the setbacks, but I would encourage everyone, as we proceed role-playing, if you see circumstances that both give you setbacks or boosts, right? Because honestly, in this game, failing can be as fun, if not more sometimes, than succeeding, right? Getting a despair might complicate things a little bit, but sometimes, maybe not in this situation, failing might be fun, but in other times, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Probably won't be.
So she's getting annoyed with me, so I
Okay.
think that would be a setback.
So actually, that would probably be a little bit more why there's purple, why there's 3 purples,
Okay.
right? Because she's turning up
Yeah.
the volume, she has less patience for you. Setbacks would be more like
You already got hit by the table once and really don't want to suffer it
you
again.
can appreciate the
Yeah.
the methods she's using. Would there be any boosts, you think? And you guys can also make arguments for boosts as well. Obviously, we don't want to like make arguments for boosts every single roll at the table.
I think your character would show a lot less that it's affecting you than, say, mine does.
I was going to say, how about this too? You complimented her and you said, "I know you're just doing your job." So you can tell there's a respect
She may
there.
not turn it all the way up as she would have.
And she may shut
She
it
just
off.
went just a little bit more.
She's doing her job right now, so she's not taking pleasure in this.
Let's not go to
Yeah.
a 7. Let's just go to a 6.
For you, though, she might fight club
Oh,
you
she hates
really
it.
hard. She might want to destroy something beautiful, turn it up to 11, tear off, rip off the knob, as they say. Okay, go ahead and roll it.
I'm gonna
You might want to try charming your way out of this next one.
say.
Yeah. Or deceiving.
I was gonna
Really?
go
I've never heard of it.
So
Those...
I'm from wild space. All right,
this one cancels out
those two,
right?
correct? Yep.
And then, so I have that, which cancels out one of those.
Yep. So go ahead and shift that to 1 advantage, and now we have
2 successes and 1 advantage.
perfect. So what we will say is, with your 2 success, normally she would deal you a base of 3 damage, 1 for each purple. But with your 2 successes, you're able to really bear down, get a lot of grit and determination, and you only take 1 wound from this second series of torture. How would you like to spend your 1 advantage?
I think that my advantage now would be that I have sort of gained the upper hand with her, because I kind of flipped it on her and started trying to interrogate her back.
Yeah. So you kind of threw her on her heels.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So as you kind of the camera pans down as she turns up the knob. The camera pans down to your hands on the table as you kind of bear your hands into the kind of
The
arms.
arm.
Yeah, we'll cut back to you, who's just like, right? And so she turns to you and she says, "Garen Maddock, how long have you known him?"
Is that the Duro that we met?
I love how that's probably as a player, but that sounded perfect as character, right?
That was both. I did put together that was the Duro that we met.
Perfect. Okay, that's awesome. So she kind of almost chuckles and she goes, "Yes, tell me more about this Duro."
I don't know what you want to know. I know you know more about him than I do.
Well, let's pretend that I don't. Let's pretend that I've never met Garen Maddock. What are some of his hobbies?
Apparently surrendering himself when someone kills tiny children.
I don't know what you're talking about. She looks really confused. She's like, "Garen killed tiny children?"
No, he surrendered himself because 2 of your soldiers killed tiny children. Tiny child.
I can assure you that if a tiny child was killed, then there was ample reason for recourse. As we landed, I specifically stated any hindrance in our search would be met with by Imperial justice.
You just asked me what I thought of the dude, and that's all I have to base off.
Did you hear any conversations he had with the captain of the Mistress of Sabers? Captain Tanan Final?
No.
You didn't
but that
hear...
other girl did.
Which other girl?
I'm just gonna throw you under the bus. Triz, I think is her name.
Yes, well, I have been speaking with Triz. She is a very resilient young woman. She demands respect. Not that you know what respect probably is. So she kind of reaches down for the console. Is this the point where you're like, wait? Do you have anything that you would like to bargain or leverage with? Not that you have much.
I didn't overhear that the droid was important.
No, you didn't.
I know nothing. Make something up.
Yeah, can I use deception and make something up?
That is the purpose of deception, is to make something up. So you're going to feed her false information?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever sounds great to her.
Okay, so what normally I'd like you to tell me what you say and then we roll to see if it happens, but I think for deception it's a lot more fun to roll and see how bad or good you do. And then that can maybe inform your... So, let's take a look. Let me get out her card real quick. So, think about, so she thinks you're funny. So, I'll give you a boost, right? She thinks you're hilarious, really.
Well, I mean, it's just me.
What about
Slash, even though she
setback?
says she doesn't like her job, she kind of likes my giant ears.
Your alligator kiss. Yeah.
How about a setback because she's an ISB agent and she's an alien? So she's even less going to be...
Hush you! Oh, and I have my extra setback from the thingy last time.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's right.
This is going to be... Yeah, you're really just grasping at straws right now, aren't you?
Hoping something... You just blurt out really quick. Catches her interest.
Alright, so I think deception is countered by discipline, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I gave you guys that skill page last time.
On the table.
Opposed discipline.
Okay, what is discipline based out of? What?
Will.
It's a willpower? Okay, so as a base, she has 3 willpower, and we'll give her 1 rank of discipline. So you have 2 purples and a red for your bad
Give me that
dice.
red back that you stole and put under your name tag.
Quit changing it to a despair.
It's obviously coming back on me, not you.
I'm helping you then.
Yeah, roll one right here.
Now, because we haven't done this, and you're probably about to
Cry big
get
tears.
turned up to 11 in the knob rip
Cry
off.
big tears in real life too.
So we're going to introduce the potential of. So right now we've used the Destiny pool to.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I want to
so,
flip one. Yep.
So right now we've only used the Destiny pool to re-roll Goochers, right? Complete blanks, no advantage, no successes, no.
Yep, I want to
no
screw us
threat.
over for later in
So
life.
we are going to use a Destiny point. We're going to flip a light to dark, and we're going to upgrade a die. So we're going to take a green die and upgrade it to a yellow, using the Destiny point for.
Another one and get rid of the red.
Unfortunately, you can only use 1 per pool.
Can I flip one and add a red?
No.
All right. So what are we looking at first? We've got 3 yellows, 2 purples, a red, 2 blacks, and a blue. Isn't it exciting to roll this many dice? Yeah, no answer. No answer.
Darn it.
Ooh,
That's terrible.
that's rough.
All right. So
Gosh.
I'm very excited to hear what lie you come up with. Oh my goodness! 2 of the yellows and the blue blanked. This is gorgeous. Okay. What's our pool looking like? How badly do you fail?
Pretty bad.
Okay. So what's the
That
final
red and
result?
yellow will cancel out.
What's the final result? Easy, bro. Oh,
Where I
goodness.
won't go towards the expensive equipment.
Okay, so we have 3 failures and
3
2...
panties and 2 clubs.
Okay, so we have 3 fails and 2 threat. So how do you bungle this? What What piece of information do you have that's so critical to the Imperials that
I
she
know
should
the captain's favorite drink.
Oh, the captain of the ship of the mistress? Okay, so you're strapped to the chair, right? And you're like, psst, I have a secret. Right?
He likes bourbon on the rocks.
And so hold on. So she goes.
He likes screwdrivers.
So you go, psst, I have a secret, right? And she goes, I'm listening.
The captain's favorite drink is screwdrivers. She at least close enough that I can like slap her in the face with my
Your
tail.
arms are with your laku.
I mean, it's already as bad as it's gonna get.
So okay,
like,
no,
slap her in the face with both of them.
This is okay. So you have like the willpower right before she turns the knob up to throw one of your laku at her, right? But because you failed so horribly, this is what happens. You swing one of your laku like effort.
And it hits myself in the face.
It slaps you in the face, right? Almost hits you in the eye a little bit, where it's like, oh, and then they drop down, like, as not heroically as possible, right? I mean, this is where the audience
It's
laughs.
like a
right?
limp.
And then so she relieves her hand from the knob, and she attaches like these like nipple clamps to the tips of your laku.
Oh no!
And she turns the knob up. I'm gonna have you.
I'm about to die. Is what's gonna happen.
This is true.
Like I'm about
you,
to pass out.
I'm gonna have you take 6 wounds.
I told you I'm about to die.
Yeah. So, not looking good at all. Okay.
I have 2 left.
And as your laku twitch uncontrollably
They're
from.
they're telling her to
Oh, I don't think there's. I think they're just going right. And as your laku
They're saying
twitch,
I'm farkled.
we're exactly. We are going to cut later, like a little bit later.
Am I just laying dead
you're
on
just
a bench?
unconscious as 2 stormtroopers kind of run you into your room, walk you in your room, set you down on the metal bed. You're kind of like slumped over, like just looking haggard, right? And just miserable. So we do like a kind of pan out or like a zoom out of the detention block. The stormtroopers walk out, and the ISB agent also returns the captain, and he's just beaten to hell. The cameras just show him. He has
At least
blood
someone's
running.
worse than me.
He has like a black eye. He has blood running. You know, his clothes are messed up. Like someone, you know, I don't know, gave him a Charlie or like a noogie too. I mean, it's really bad, right? Really bad. Star Wars bad. Okay. It's like PG-13 really bad. Okay.
Gave him a swirly.
We're pushing the line of like one of our strikes for almost close to R. Right. We haven't said our F word yet. You know, we get 1, but so we're getting really close to PG. We're never mind. So the camera pans out. Captain gets dragged back to his cell. The block warden basically does this awkward, okay, I'll see you later, you know, and the stormtroopers don't give no shits, right? So they walk away. The Captain Lynn Chimera walks away as well, having done, I mean, it's late, right? It is like 3 o'clock in the morning, standard Death Star time.
Are there multiple time zones on the Death Star?
It's big enough.
It really depends on what level you are. Yeah. If you're in the lower, time goes slow. I don't know. Moving right along. So the door slides shut, and we see the block warden kind of sit down in his chair, and he's, you know, getting ready for the long haul of his shift, right? He has like his little sack lunch and his space sandwich and, you know, his fizzy pop. And he's kind of set up for the day, right? And maybe there's like a Twi'lek sobbing in the distance, even through
There's totally a Twi'lek sobbing in the distance.
Yeah, at this point, she just wants to go back
home.
to, yeah.
Well,
at this point,
anywhere.
Hut spaces
Yeah,
better.
she'll go back with the huts.
Perfect. Okay. So, and as
However,
he's...
she's gonna find that lady and shoot her in the head.
Fair enough. Okay.
Everybody's got
Promise made. Okay. So, a few moments, you know, like, we almost see, like, sort of like a lapse of time as we see this ward block, kind of, this block warden kind of getting a little bit tired, you know, and then the door slides open, and the camera's really tight on this block warden's face, and you just see someone in this gray Imperial uniform. It's actually a black Imperial uniform. And they kind of clunk in a little bit, and then kind of like brace themselves against the wall. And this is all like, you don't get to see their face yet. You just see someone zigzag back and forth a little bit, and then brace themselves against the wall. And the block warden looks up, and he sees Reminold in a black Imperial suit, and his hair's messed up a little bit, and he's just kind of swaying a little bit. He has a data pad in his hand, and he's like trying to squint and look at it, but the screen brightness is at 100% still.
Oh, no.
And it's rough. So Remy stumbles in. And the block warden looks up and he kind of stands up and he almost salutes, and then he looks at your rank and it's ensign, and he's like, "What are you doing here, ensign?"
I'm here for prisoner transport.
Prisoner transport.
Yeah. I was sent to get some of these prisoners and take them over to a different cell block.
Are you drunk, ensign?
I am going to go ahead and flip a destiny point to power off the auto turrets. Lorbeau is powering off the auto turrets.
Perfect, yeah. So Lorbeau and you have devised this skullduggerous plan, right? And it's now... This is the moment to strike, right? So are you talking about the guns that are in the corners of the room
corners, yeah,
that like light up the prison block if shots are fired? Okay, perfect. So you see how you're kind of drunken periffs, right? And in fact, at this point,
I'm like looking up at it.
I was going to say, you feel like you're periffing him, like really sly, but you're really going... Right? And he's like looking up, and you see he's like looking up like at these guns, and you see him just start to power down and lower one at a time, and Lorbeau's come through, right? And he turns to you, and he's kind of looking confused, and he goes, "Ensign, are you drunk on duty?"
And I pull out my blaster and I set it to stun and shoot him.
Okay, and he just gets shot in the chest, point blank range, right? Ba-doom, you put it right to his chest, blast him back. He lands in his chair, knocks over what fizzy pop he had left all over the command console, right?
Oh, no.
I mean,
It's gonna get all
yeah,
sticky.
it's gonna get sticky, really bad. Yeah,
It's gonna be so sticky.
Yeah, it's bad. So he kind of falls into the chair, slumped, almost immediately starts drooling.
And then in my hand that hasn't been on camera yet, I pull up a flask and I say, "You're drunk." And take a drink.
Perfect. Okay. So
He hadn't even got to his Wonder Bread sandwich yet.
Oh no.
Cut the crust off too. He took time this morning to make
Plastic
himself a
knife that
lunch.
his wife packed. Yeah.
Remy picks it up, starts
Yeah.
eating it.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
You don't even like it. You're just
no.
it's
Like-
his.
I take a bite. Gooba fish sandwich.
Yeah.
No.
At least he cut the crust off, right? Okay.
And then I'll go ahead and...
You very slightly on the comlink here. A question.
Yeah, I got it.
Which was essentially a hurry up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll
So you have fizzy pop, orange fizzy pop spreading all over the countertop.
I start going ahead and just flipping open random cells, and then on the comms I'm like, "Hey, do you like Gooba fish sandwich?"
To the Wookiee.
All right, I'll save you some.
And then you pretty much yell at him to get over here if you want to bite, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So he basically responds with a, "Don't eat it, I'm on my way." Which sounds like... Perfect. Okay. Yeah, Sterling here is the closest to Wookiee, to Sterling Wook we're getting, so sorry. Not sorry, that's okay. It's better than mine. Yeah, so... Okay, so the doors start sliding up one by one, and you're kind of like doubled over on your bed, like face down, still drooling a little bit, and you hear, right? You're in kind of brooding, as you seem to mostly do all the time, thinking about stuff in the deepest possible level, right? Almost Inception level, thinking about stuff. And your door slides open as well, and you guys kind of like almost expecting more stormtroopers to pour in for like round 3, right? And nothing happens.
So I get up and I kind of peek my head outside.
And
You see a Corellian, and he's standing, and he's got like one leg propped on the guard, and he says, "Never fear, the hero's here."
and the guard goes,
Sandwich.
yeah, and the block warden goes, he starts to wake up, and right? I mean, it's almost ragdoll at this point. And so you guys kind of peek out. At this time, Bruto, you're sitting in your block as well. Not a scratch on you. Probably saving the best for last, right? The door slides open, and you're just kind of sitting there.
Hey, your lights are out of phase in here.
Ding, 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 ding.
That Druk's annoying.
That was your own form of torture? It's the one light bulb that's just flickering the whole time, and you have no tools to fix it. Oh,
Man, that's the worst.
yeah. Yeah. So everybody slowly starts to pour out. Now, this is one of those longer detention blocks, so we have, all the way back, and then there's like this group holding cell of people who haven't even been processed yet, and there's just like 30-some people just kind of like starting to enter the hallway, and all of a sudden this plan is starting to look a little bit more Farkled than you would imagine. Like, you're like, I'll rescue everybody, don't worry.
I didn't quite have a grasp on how many people were actually in here.
And this is just the one cell block. You know countless others from your sort of patrols before you got off. And it's seeming like right now, maybe those other cell blocks that you had planned, like written on your hand right here, you're just like,
just the one.
Sorry. Right?
Just the one.
Well, he was going to go to the other ones, but the fish sandwich just kind of smeared across the
Oh, no.
He can't read it anymore.
The mayonnaise dripped onto it, and I licked it off, and it's...
And it just wiped all of the cell blocks off. Okay, so as you're kind of like, everybody's kind of coming out, and there's like this drunk Imperial standing over another
My character
Imperial.
would want his flask.
So he has the flask kind of set down. This drunk Imperial officer just kind of opened all the doors and he says, "Have no fear, your hero is here." What are your thoughts?
All right, hero, show me what you got.
He's got a gun.
He starts to unzip his flask. He's so drunk. So what is drunk Reminold? A Zabrak, she's big frame, serious looking, she's calling you out. What do you got?
I just kind of like twirl my blaster around and I aim to kind of like put it up on my shoulder.
Oh god, do you shoot
But I'm gonna
yourself?
roll a cool check to see if I'm able to do it, and I'll take 2 setbacks because I'm pretty drunk.
Very much so, yes. Yes. But you did,
Can I get
the
another
plan's
yellow?
going pretty good, so I'll give you a boost, okay?
Let's upgrade the difficulty on this one.
What's
It'd be
the...
so funny if he just stunned himself in the face.
Okay, so yeah, this is a hard check because you've practiced this probably 100 times, right? Probably.
And we're upgrading the difficulty,
I was
you
gonna say
said?
you've probably done this 15 times in the bar alone, getting
I
ready
was
for
like,
this,
he's
right?
probably done it drunk quite a few times.
He probably only does it drunk, right?
He probably has holes in his wall.
He only
because
really
he's-
plays with his blaster pistol when he's drunk, right? That's when he's the most. His safety comes first when you're drunk. Okay, so what are we looking at for your dice pool?
So we're gonna upgrade it to a red because it is very
'Cause a
funny
despair
if I
could be really
happen
good.
to mess
Oh
up.
man. Okay. Don't despair. I don't know what's gonna happen.
He's gonna shoot his ear off. Van Gogh style.
Oh no! Oh no!
This is really bad.
What you got, hero?
Okay.
So he did roll a despair. He absolutely rolled a despair.
Well,
Oh, I love Sterling for these rolls. They always happen.
Sterling is amazing at this game.
I have 4 fails,
Holy
Oh
shit.
god.
5 advantage, and a despair.
So, what was that one more time? You
3
have.
fails.
4 fails, because
So,
the despair
okay.
counts as a failure.
It
Oh.
absolutely does. Yeah, so despair and triumph both have an inherent success or failure built
Okay.
into it. Yeah.
5 advantage.
So you have 4 failure, 5 advantage,
And a despair.
and the despair icon. Okay.
This is...
So how do you bungle this?
Um...
So you pulled your gun out. You're very drunk. You're way past the legal limit to fly right now. You start.
I start spinning it. It
Your
doesn't
mission
shoot me
is
in
to
the
save
face,
people and
but it goes flying down the hallway.
I also think you killed a civilian.
Oh, I don't know
I don't
because
know that
then
bad.
I don't know. Like thematically, the party's probably not going to follow this rescue, and then we're kind of stuck,
But
not getting to chapter 1.
I
Episode
knock
1.
over my flask,
Oh, okay.
and it
That
spills
makes
on the
me
console.
sad, too.
Okay.
So now there is both fizzy pop
Okay.
and alcohol.
Someone just had a
over it.
party in here.
Oh man, Lorbeau's cousin.
And it soaks the sandwich, so when Lorbeau gets back, he's
I
gonna be
wanted to
mad.
Oh man. So your despair, okay, is that when you spill the flask onto the console, it activates the alarm to the cell block and triggers the alarm and indicates that there is some sort of jailbreak happening. Okay, so you have failure. What's your advantage? Because you have how much advantage?
5.
Which is a lot of advantage.
That is a lot of advantage.
So you're trying to be cool. So what is your like? How cool are you with this whole mess, right?
Wow. So maybe the gun doesn't go flying down the hall, but it like kind of flips up in the air, and I catch it back. Like I might fumble it a little bit.
Well, you failed at being cool.
I did,
but
fail
the side
at being
effect
cool.
of trying to be cool is advantageous. So,
Can I catch his blaster? As he like throws it, trying to spin it.
So he throws it, tries to catch it, knocks over his drink, throws it down the hallway, which you were near the end, so they were kind of working their way down. You were at the end. There's a blaster flying at you.
Can we say it opens like as the thing fell and like set off the alarm? It also opened up like a supply closet where like all of their equipment had been stored.
Exactly. Yeah, like these lockers that were magnetically sealed or something open, and all of your gear is in it. So this blaster starts sliding across the thing, and you're like, cool.
Just pick it
up.
It's kind of sticky.
It has orange fizzy pop.
It's got some mayonnaise on it still.
Oh man, it has this white blob. Yeah. It's just like, what is going on, right? So,
as a weapon enthusiast, this is just terrible. This is just...
As a weapon enthusiast,
it's just terrible.
We have to wait for these kids over here.
You always said it that way.
Are you finished making semen jokes? Daniel's about to talk about how much he loves guns. All right, go ahead, Ty.
As a weapon enthusiast, seeing this weapon in this condition is very disappointing.
I mean,
when I find out
the
who
orange
owns this,
fizzy pop is going to get in the chamber and it's going to just gum it up. Yeah.
When I find out who owns this,
it's really not safe to be,
you shouldn't fire this weapon.
Well, you shouldn't. You're going to get space AIDS from the pistol. Okay, I think with space AIDS, we're going to call that our second session. So if you're looking forward to more space AIDS shenanigans, stay tuned.
That was a hard check.
You're drunk. You are super drunk playing with a gun. Yes, it is a hard check, sir.
You're lucky you didn't brain yourself.